Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here if you want to. You may take control of the airwaves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to jump into one of those if you want to sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. I'm Ian.
Rich Ball.
And Chris.
And also, of course, again, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. So we got some tech-related news tonight, which is a good night to do it because we also have Rich, a.k.a. Nobody, and Chris, who are here from Freedom Decrypted, which is a tech-oriented pro-liberty show that you guys do together on Saturdays.
That's right. Rich and I both do the show on Saturday.
So we'll try not to exhaust your show prep pile for tomorrow, because I did bring some stuff in. But on the way, you've got an update on the border device situation, Chris, and that is something that has affected me directly and has affected tens of thousands of people. Or at least they count the devices. So presumably there's like 30,000 a year devices recently that are searched at the border. And some would argue, like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, searched illegally and unconstitutionally. But there's some news about that you're going to get to coming up here in a little while. Also, we can talk about darknet markets being taken down again. Rich, you and I were doing a little bit of research on some of these takedowns last night, and TechCrunch has a pretty interesting article about one of them, which is called Wall Street Market. So we can talk about all those things, and of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. But to start out tonight, Facebook was in the news yet again, and this time, the claim is that they're going to launch a cryptocurrency. Did you hear about this?
Wow.
Yeah, I roll my eyes every time I hear about it.
Like, you've heard about it previously?
Yeah, it's been in the news. I think at least, I don't know how long. I mean, do you guys know how long it's been in the news? It's been in. I feel like it's been in the news for at least like a couple of weeks, if not longer.
Well, they first made noise about it during the boom.
There were rumors.
I remember there being rumors and talk, but now they're saying it's a year away.
Oh, really?
So they're talking about 2020 for this Facebook coin. Is it really going to be a cryptocurrency? Well, let's get into some of the details.
And here's another question I do want to ask, because I haven't even bothered to read any of these stories because I just think it's ridiculous. But is this actually being done by Facebook, the company, or somebody who's creating a coin and calling it Facebook for the publicity?
No. This is Mark
because
Zuckerberg.
I could see somebody doing this.
This is making big headlines.
Okay.
This is from The Guardian at theguardian.com. Facebook is planning to launch its own cryptocurrency in early 2020, allowing users to make digital payments in a dozen countries. The currency, dubbed Global Coin, would enable Facebook's 2.4 billion monthly users to change dollars and other international currencies into its digital coins. So it sounds like they're going to also be running an exchange, at least offering just their own currency. And I'm hesitant to call it a crypto because we haven't seen the actual product yet.
Is this going to be like Venezuela all over again?
Well, okay, what are the minimum requirements to fit your description of crypto? Because that could mean anything from a coin that involves cryptography.
Sure.
And undoubtedly they will use cryptography in the implementation of this.
You would hope.
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of have to. But the question to me is it going to be distributed?
Right.
What happens to the coin if Facebook disappears? What happens to the coin if it forks?
I think it's fair to say it's probably got to be. There's got to be at least probably two components. One, it's got to be decentralized, and it's got to be distributed in order for it to be
a cryptocurrency.
I think those are probably fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be either of those things.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be either of those things either. But I'm sure you'll at least have to type in HTTPS in order to access the website where you
So it would be secure. It would be encrypted, is what you're saying.
Well, it would be an
sort
encrypted
of.
connection, but secure. I mean, if you set your password to A, you're more secure than if you didn't set your password at all. But are you secure? Well, no. I had a boss one time told me, we need this machine completely secure. I said, no problem. Give me a pair of scissors. I'll cut the network cable.
Right, because to a determined opponent with an unlimited amount of resources or near unlimited amount of resources and time, almost no system is secure. You can get the fanciest lock ever and put it on your front door, and the best lockpick, if he's got enough time, is going to be able to do something to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a principle that's going to inform one of our later stories, so keep that one in mind.
I think you have to ask, what are you trying to defend against, right? Because there's different circumstances where you might need, if you're trying to defend against a government entity, or are you trying to defend against like malware, and is that malware, even if it's from the government, is it a mass de-anonymization attack that you're trying to defend against, or is it a targeted attack? Because one, you might be able to defend against, the other might be more difficult to defend against. And then the question is there valuable data on the system, or do you just need to prevent identification? Because if you just need to prevent identification, you might be able to do that even though your system is taken over.
Well, one thing's for sure, they are not going to be defending against the government with Global Coin, run by Facebook.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing it hand in hand with whatever governments.
Oh, absolutely.
And they get into it here.
So the thing with security is nothing can be completely secure. So the goal is make the cost of breaking your encryption or defeating your security greater than the value of what you would receive if you did. Now, when you're dealing with the government, there's a couple problems there. The first is they place just effectively an infinite value on everything. They will kill you for a cigarette. Okay,
oh, yeah.
So they have no problem. It's not like they're going to say, well, it's not worth killing somebody over, because of course to them anything is worth killing somebody over.
Yeah.
And the other problem is marginal value. They have effectively an infinite number of dollars. So why would they say it's not worth that many dollars to do that if they have all the dollars in the universe?
I think the reality is that the government doesn't really have an infinite amount of money to just throw at a problem.
Effectively,
but
it does.
They have. Well, hold on. Let me back up. And
if they don't mind destroying the economy, they could just keep printing and printing and printing like Venezuela.
Yeah, right. And this is kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. They have effectively they do against a target like you and I, but they don't necessarily have it against say Russia or China or some other country that actually has a
printing press of their own.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the question is, and even against a small country, the government is not necessarily going to be willing to spend the resources in order to invade if the cost or the value of what they are gaining, if you can make it more expensive to invade than it is to actually, what you'll get from it.
Right.
So.
Right. So it's very hard to take on an infinitely funded organization. You have to kind of not be seen.
So let's get into the dirty details of Global Coin, the Facebook proposed so-called cryptocurrency. They're saying that they believe that their coin could be used to buy things on the internet and in shops and other outlets, or to transfer money without needing a bank account. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and chief executive of Facebook, last month, this is your first signal that this is a very bad thing, last month met the governor of the Bank of England to discuss.
Oh, that's going to turn the crypto community on. They love them British bankers.
Oh.
Yeah, to discuss his plans. Zuckerberg has also discussed the proposal known as Project Libra with U.S. Treasury officials, and is in talks with money transfer firms, including Western Union, to develop cheap, safe ways for people to send and receive money.
Wow.
So, yeah, this is not going to be a cryptocurrency. If you get Western Union, you get the U.S. Treasury Department and the Bank of England involved to try to roll up some kind of financial product, I guarantee you it is not going to be decentralized. It is not going to be secure. It's not going to be anything worth talking about. But It is Facebook, which is why it's worth talking about. So let's talk more about it on the way. Free Talk Live. Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to reach out to us there, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with me, Rich, a.k.a. Nobody, and Chris. So again, join us at 855-450-FREE. Plus, I want you to know about Edge Wallet. It is the wallet that I use more than any other cryptocurrency wallet, and that's because, well, it's pretty darn great. It allows
You're not just being edgy?
Nope,
Okay.
but it is darn good. In fact, it'll allow you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, tokens that are on Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and more. They've got a veteran team. They've been building wallets since 2014. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Go to edge.app or your Google or Apple App Store and download it there and give it a shot. That's edge.app. As we continue here, talking about the Mark Zuckerberg project, Facebook is looking to launch its own cryptocurrency. They're maybe it won't end up being called this, but apparently they're planning on calling it Global Coin. And
there's so many people who use globalist as an insult also that's going to be
it's going to be right up their alley.
Wow. They're apparently marking to a group of people that I am completely unacquainted with.
Well, Facebook's been talking to the Bank of England, the U.S. Treasury Department, and apparently Western Union, which suggests to me that this isn't going to be a cryptocurrency at all. As you pointed out, Rich, you feel, I think you said, or maybe it was you, Chris, but I think we all agreed that in order for it to be a cryptocurrency, it needs to be decentralized. It needs to be distributed. It needs to be something that the community, the people who are interested in the thing, can help operate. That's what made Bitcoin unique as far as forms of digital money was concerned. Beyond its cryptographic security and soundness, it was also decentralized, and it currently exists. The Bitcoin blockchain, which is the public ledger that backs the coin, that exists in over 10,000 locations right now. Where's Facebook's ledger going to be located? Is it going to be just in their server farms?
And if you say something they don't like on Facebook, will they lock your wallet?
You better believe they'll have that ability. Yeah, I suspect they would.
That's frightening thought.
Just
when you
like
think
PayPal.
about it.
Just like PayPal will lock you down.
Yeah, you send a payment to somebody they don't like, they say, well, no money for you.
A report, and this is from The Guardian, by the way, a report last year said Facebook is working on a cryptocurrency that would let users transfer money using WhatsApp, its encrypted mobile messaging app. Quote, payments is one of the areas where we have an opportunity to make it a lot easier, Zuckerberg told the company's developer conference last month. He said, quote, I believe it should be as easy to send money to someone as it is to send a photo. Well, okay, I don't disagree.
It is with Bitcoin Cash, with many.
Why reinvent the wheel? Because you want to control it.
Yep.
Right. He could implement any one of these options that you just mentioned and have it implemented probably by the end of this month if they started working right now.
They've already got a payment system. I think they could probably have Bitcoin Cash integrated within a week, and that's what I would do if it was my project.
Right.
Make themselves a token even for it that's backed by Bitcoin Cash.
I think there's a couple other things I would add to the whole cryptocurrency definition. Yeah. One, there's code available, and two, the user is in control.
Thank you. Yes. Of course, you would have to have the code available in order for it to be a transparent project, right?
Yeah,
it would have to.
Yeah, I think so.
Transparency is one of the key factors here. That way,
definitely.
Otherwise, you have to trust them that it's cryptographically secure, and that's not.
No. That doesn't work.
It doesn't work like that.
Right. You trust PayPal, right? That doesn't mean you don't have the code to PayPal. And it's basically would be the same thing.
If you can't trust PayPal because you don't have the code.
Right. Exactly. And it's the same thing. you're being controlled by somebody else basically if you don't have the code.
I trust PayPal to a certain extent, just like I trust Walmart to a certain extent. I trust PayPal to be PayPal.
They will generally deliver on their promise of transferring U.S. dollars from one person to another, unless they get a hair up their butt and decide to freeze your account. And
they do. And
they haven't astonished me.
They do it all the time, actually.
But they do astonish people.
Sex workers used to be a big sex work platform for sex workers way back in the day when PayPal first got started, and they kicked out everybody who basically was like, part of the founding, like started it basically, was involved in the beginning, and then. Anything that has to do with like file sharing, even though it's totally legal, like donations and things like that, they've been kicked out. I mean, there's all these different groups of people who have been banned basically from using PayPal. So,
going on here, in order to try to stabilize, here's where it gets even worse. In order to try to stabilize the digital currency, the company is looking to peg its value not just to the dollar, but to a basket of established currencies, including the U.S. dollar, the euro, and the Japanese yen. How exactly is that
not
going
a cryptocurrency
to work?
Well, I mean, the way you would do it, if you were going to do a direct implementation of that, then you would have bank accounts denominated in each. And so you would be able to cash in, for example, one coin for $1, a ruble, and a yen, or I don't remember what.
But
the
that means it's
countries were.
centrally controlled in some fashion.
Damn right, it's going to be centrally controlled.
It would have to be centrally controlled to some extent because it has to be backed.
Yeah,
somebody has to be willing. The other thing that they
what does it even mean? Before you go on, what does it even mean to be? And look, I'm not a finance expert. I mean, maybe this is easier than I'm thinking that it is. But like with the current so-called stable coins in the cryptocurrency world. So like we talk a lot about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Dash and these cryptocurrencies that just sort of trade at whatever rate the market wants them to trade at. So they go up, they go down, they go all over the place. But then there are these other things called stable coins, which are usually pegged to the U.S. dollar. The supply is, to some extent, it seems, manipulated by some company or whatever, and the price stays relatively stable. It's usually at like 99 cents or $1.01 or somewhere in that range. If you all of a sudden you want to involve a basket of currencies, then what are you doing? Are you averaging the price of this Facebook coin based on what the price of
cryptocurrencies go, or fiat currencies go up and down too. So the dollar doesn't stay stable
versus
for years.
Other things.
Right.
Yes.
So basically, with a stable coin, it's easy to deal with it if the price goes too high. Okay, all you have to do is make more and sell them until the price falls.
Right.
If the price falls too low, you would have to have real assets to buy up your coin until it was up to where you want. So it would have to be backed in a way, but it could be backed in a decentralized way. There could be 100 different organizations out there that were saying that made a commitment. If a silver coin falls below the price of silver, we will buy it up in expectation it'll grow again. So it's like keeping a rope taut. Basically, you just have to keep exactly the right amount of pressure on the supply, but you have to have the resources to do that.
I know you want to get in, but you probably have something to say that's a little longer than 10
seconds. We'll continue on when we get back.
So there's more on the way here in moments. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It ain't sounding like much of a cryptocurrency from all the details we know so far. The Facebook coin, a.k.a. global coin, coming in 2020. It's Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Chris.
AnyPay.global is your go-to source. If you want to accept cryptocurrencies in real life at your business, if you've got a mom-and-pop brick-and-mortar store and you've got a cash register, maybe you've got a tablet up there at your cash register, you're already halfway done. All you need is a cryptocurrency wallet for yourself. If you've already got that, then you're like 3/4 of the way done. This is a super easy process. All you have to do is go to helpmetakebitcoin.com, and the folks at AnyPay will walk you through step by step, even if you're starting from zero, even if you've never had cryptocurrency before. And we're talking about real cryptocurrencies here, not some Facebook junk. Helpmetakebitcoin.com. You can easily accept Bitcoin BTC, Dash, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. I think they're up to 11 currencies right now, cryptocurrencies, over at AnyPay. So check them out at helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's super easy to do this. It is way easier than you're thinking that it is if you've never done anything with cryptocurrency before. If you want to make your customers happy, if you want to be on the cutting edge, you want to be hip with it as far as payments are concerned, this is the way to go. Helpmetakebitcoin.com. As we continue here, we can talk more about the Facebook app, or Facebook crypto, but so-called crypto, I guess we should say. But Chris, you had a point that you wanted to drive at before we went away there.
So right now, all these stable coins are tied. They're not really crypto coins, and I think there would potentially be there may be a way to somehow make a coin more stable without actually
being centrally
controlled. Yeah. And I think the way Rich and I were kind of talking about this off air here is that the way you might go about doing that is have mining, the amount of coins coming out relative to the demand. So it basically,
an adjustable mining,
some sort of
factor?
adjustable mining algorithm, so that basically if the price goes up, then if the price rises too fast, then fewer coins come out on the market, basically can be mined. And if it's going down, or no, if it's going down, you would mine.
Would the miners be as interested in a coin like that? I mean, with the other cryptocurrencies, what the mining rewards are going to be. They probably
would be, because it might even be more interesting to them, because you would have fewer miners when you need less miners, and you'd have more miners when you don't.
I
think
the problem would be, though, depending on how you implemented cutting off mining of coins, the transactions still have to be processed.
Right.
And mining is an essential part of that. Mm-hmm. So the question is, how do you get them to continue mining?
Well,
you could reduce the reward, but if the reward goes to zero, there is still the transaction,
and that's theoretically
fee.
How it's supposed to work. A post coins
the rewards.
Yeah, right.
See, I have
whether or not it works or not, who knows? But
that's one of my concerns about Bitcoin as well, is that everybody will stop mining once we have 21 million Bitcoins out there.
I mean, it's going to be like 100 years, though, right?
Yeah, if Bitcoin hasn't been replaced by then, it'll be a shocker.
Is it going to be 100 years before they're done?
Predictions are.
It's something like that.
Yeah, well, then it's not even my problem.
Right. Yeah, it's nobody's problem. I mean, come on. Bitcoin isn't the best crypto on the market today. It's just the one that made it first, and so it's got a huge network effect. It's been around for a long time. We can continue with more on the Facebook coin concept, but let's go to Discord, where John Bolton is on the line. John, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead with your thoughts.
So I was wondering if you guys had heard of Tulsi Gabbard and what your thoughts were.
She's a Democrat running for president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's about all I know.
I'm familiar with Tulsi Gabbard. I would agree with Ron Paul that she's the best of the Democrats. I would disagree with the people who said that Ron Paul endorsed her. He didn't. But I like her stand on war. I wish she had a better understanding of economics. And, of course, that's one of the big problems of our...
Then she'd be Ron Paul, right?
Right. And you see, that's one of the problems with our system is Democrats and Republicans are generally right on half of things and wrong on half of things. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to support any of them. But... I would support her in the Democratic primary if I didn't have the opportunity to support like Weld or Rand in the Republican primary.
Interesting.
I don't know if she's that interesting. I don't know anything about her.
Doesn't mean I'll support Weld or Rand in the general, because I'll probably vote Libertarian.
I would probably have to say that if it's anything like, I don't remember who this was who was saying this, but they were the Democrat. I know some of the Democrats were saying that they were going to abolish ICE, and then after the fact, they were like, "Oh, I didn't really mean that."
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
So it turns out we need them.
Ice, baby.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of...
They should abolish them, though. That would be awesome.
They should.
I mean, but that's kind of my gut feeling when politicians talk, like what Republican or Democrat. I mean, they're basically
full of
liars. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But the problem is, I mean, abolishing ICE while you're still blowing up people's countries might be a bad plan, because the whole blowing up of people's countries really irritates them, and they might want to come here and whack somebody if we keep blowing them up. So, the best I would say that we should eliminate both the bombing of the whole damn world and ICE.
Sure. That'd be great. Now we're still in fantasy land either way. So
yes, we are.
All right. Hey, John, I'm not sure why you called to ask about this lady. I mean, what is it you think is special about her?
I don't know. I've just seen some libertarians that like Tulsi Gabbard because of her foreign policy position on war. So I was wondering if you guys were familiar with that.
Yeah, her foreign policy position is definitely good. I guess since you're not too familiar with her, Ian, she was, I believe, a Marine, but she was in one of these conflicts, and she was horrified by what she saw. And so she's been on a very, very principled, just leave the rest of the world alone kind of view. So that's what I do. I love that about her.
Thank you for the call, John Bolton. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450 free.
She's also said that she would pardon Julian and Snowden.
Really?
And I think the three of them, Julian, Snowden, and
what about Ross Ulbricht?
No, not Ross Ulbricht, but the one here, the trans girl.
Chelsea Manning.
Chelsea Manning, that's it.
Okay. Well, she's already out. I mean, Barack Obama, she's back in jail on contempt of court. But I don't think a pardon can get you out of contempt, can it?
Why wouldn't it be able to?
I don't know. I think there's probably a whole collection of ways that you could get. I don't know.
It's an excellent question.
Yeah, So let me just say Snowden and Assange for now. I don't know what's going to happen with Chelsea, and of course she may not be in by the time the next election rolls around anyway.
18
Hopefully
months
she won't be.
is the maximum amount of time, so it'll be a close call.
Yeah.
On that
Not holding my breath.
Are people like assembling outside wherever she's being held and protesting? Is there anything going on?
I don't know. I have not. Just because I haven't seen a report doesn't mean there's nothing going on.
Right.
And I think she's being held in Virginia, but I could be wrong about that too. Just in like a jail. I think she's just in some jail.
Yeah. Well, of course they keep federal prisoners in Keene County Jail too, or Cheshire.
They sure do. Let's continue here with Tom in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Good evening. Today is the 40th anniversary of a hate crime. I was the victim of a hate crime when Governor Hugh Gallen signed a bill raising the drinking age in New Hampshire from 18 to 20, and I was one of the victims. I was 19 at the time. And I just wanted to...
So you were responsible enough to choose to drink until the bill got signed. Then all of a sudden you were no longer responsible enough to choose to drink.
As if rights are gifts from the government.
Stand by, Tom. We'll let you continue the story here in just a moment. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And, of course, outlawing people between the ages of 18 and 20 or 21 from drinking just means more money for the government, because they're going to keep drinking, they're going to get arrested, and then they're going to get ticketed, and they're going to pay the tickets.
And more people scared of the government, and they love that.
There's more on the way. It's Free Talk Live. It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free to take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever's on your mind. Coming up, more on this Facebook coin The news media is calling it a cryptocurrency, but they don't know what they're talking about. So
no, they don't.
Yeah, all the evidence so far, the early details that we have on this suggest that it is in no way, shape, or form going to be a cryptocurrency. It will likely be centrally controlled, centrally managed, centrally supply limited, some kind of so-called stable coin that's going to be tied to a basket of world currencies. And they're teaming up with the U.S. Treasury Department, the Bank of England, and Western Union. So it's looking pretty ugly. We'll tell you more about that coming up here in moments. And also want to say thank you to Dan Krefzig, who is a Free Talk Live Gold Amplifier. An amplifier is somebody who is a listener of Free Talk Live who decides they want to back up what we do here with a few bucks a month. $5 a month is all that we ask. He's a gold amplifier, which means Dan's doing $10 per month. So definitely appreciate that. But you can become an amplifier and get the perks that you receive, the benefits of being an amplifier, like access to the AMP and supporters chat rooms on our Discord. If you're still into Facebook, there's an AMP-only Facebook group there as well. There's several different perks that you can learn about by going to amp.freetalklive.com. That's where you can learn more and also contribute via PayPal, credit card, or Bitcoin BTC over at amp.freetalklive.com. As we go back to Tom in New Hampshire. Tom, you were hearkening back. You said, was it 40 years ago?
40 years ago, I was the victim of a hate crime. And when the governor of New Hampshire, I had sent him a letter telling him not to sign it, but he signed it anyway.
Mm-hmm. This was the raising of the age.
He didn't respect your authority.
No. This is you're talking about the raising of the drinking age from what was then 18. You said it raised to 20, not 21 at that time?
They raised it to 20, and then I was no longer old enough. It was later raised, of course, to 21, which is why I would like to tell you the story of the parable of Mr. and Mrs. 20.
Okay.
They were in handcuffs in the back seat one day, griping to the cop for being so mean. What's the big idea? We weren't even harming anybody. You shouldn't even be bothering. And as usual, the cop replied, if you don't like the laws the cops enforce, then get the laws changed. What are they supposed to do? Clone themselves so they can be more numerous on Election Day? It's right up there with love it or leave it, when the only ones who are free to leave the country are the ones who can get permission from the bureaucrats of another country to move in.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, a couple days later, members of the state legislature were walking into the joint, and they found a whole bunch of dead cops and a letter that says, now repeal the underage drinking laws, or this is going to continue. And the members clenched their teeth and vowed, "We will never give in." Sure enough, next morning, another heap of dead cops every morning, until finally they figured it's better to lose 10% of their federal highway grants than to lose 100% of their cops.
Okay, so this is morphed into a fantasy. You were telling, a true story earlier where New Hampshire's goon governor did increase the drinking age, and now you're sharing, a fantasy of killing cops. What are you trying to say here?
I'm telling the story is, that evening, Mr. and Mrs. 20 were hiking downtown to celebrate the end of a hate crime. They happened to meet that cop that said, "What? That was you two running that operation? What's the big idea?" And they replied, "Well, that's exactly what you said to do. You said to get the laws changed. And the point is, that is what it would take to make most of those no-good, rotten-to-the-core punks in the New Hampshire legislature or any state legislature swallow up all of their hatred, malice, bigotry, insanity, hypocrisy, stupidity, wickedness, greed, and lies, and finally start voting for liberty and justice for all."
You're saying if enough cops died, the state representatives would change their minds?
So why would you target the cops, though, and not the politicians?
Because the politicians are only babbling and scribbling, and they have a right to their wrong opinions.
That's an interesting view. There was a rally today in Keene for I think his name's Buttplug or something. He's a Democratic candidate,
Democrat.
But he's a gun grabber.
Oh,
and so I wanted if I had like a ban guns now T-shirt, I definitely would have stayed up and showed up.
Mm-hmm.
But the question that I wanted to ask him was, there's 160 million gun owners in America. And there are there's 1.5 million cops and active duty military in America. So, if 3% of those of the gun owners decide to take one cop out before they fighting before they get killed, you're going to run out of cops. What's your solution to that?
And the more cops end up, being taken out in that way, the harder it is to recruit new cops.
Especially when it's something that the cops don't agree with personally anyway. Nobody wants to die for something they personally think is stupid.
Well, and how many cops drank underage?
Well, yeah.
Almost all of them. Almost guarantee you, almost every cop has had a drink under the age of 21.
And the thing is, they're obviously willing to kill people for doing things they did when they were kids, but are they really willing to die for people to stop people from doing what they did when they were kids?
Yeah, I don't think violence is the solution, but I understand why people are frustrated, and I understand why the police get the blame for it, because they are the tip of the spear of the state. They are the ones who do the bidding of these politicians who get to hide in their offices in Concord or whatever state capitals that you're listening from. Thank you for the call tonight, Tom. Appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Sarah is in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I've seen the Del Taco. They're going to start selling meatless tacos.
Okay.
Do you like meatless tacos?
Well, I'm just. It took me a while to figure out the advertisement. It was called Beyond Meat. So I thought they were talking about organic, hormone-free meat, and I kept reading it, and it says all plant-based protein, which means it's like soy textured, like ground beef, but it's all like probably soybean tofu based.
Huh. Food for the soy boys.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to sell real well out in California.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is New Mexico. No, I mean, this was advertised.
Well, Del Taco's a Western, company, right? Like, they're out in California and stuff. I mean, it's pretty much a Western. Am I right about that, Del Taco? I think it is.
I haven't heard of it.
Really? Okay. I've heard of it. I've never been there, though.
Now, are they offering only fake meat, or do they still do they have real meat too?
Well, they do have real ground beef, but it tastes really awful. It's the pink slime burger deal. That's what it tastes like.
Well, I don't know if I'm sure there's plenty of people who are fans of their food, but you're going to get what you're going to get at a taco chain for the most part. You're not going to get the highest quality ingredients at your typical taco chain that's in dozens and dozens of locations. If you want a good taco, you got to go to the ones made by real Mexican people who know how to make tacos. Thank you for the call, by the way, Sarah. Appreciate hearing from you. But this is what people want. There's a fair amount of demand, obviously. I mean, Del Taco feels like they can make some money by selling these Beyond Meat products. I guess they've teamed up with some other provider. I guess whatever this company is, Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat, I think, is a big push. I think it had some celebrity endorsements. And
sounds like something celebrities would get behind.
Yeah, it sounds like they're well funded, I guess, is my impression. This is not a grassroots thing that some hippie came up with.
Well, it could have been a hippie. Who knows? I mean, hippies. The hippies are the boomers, and some of them have done pretty well, right?
Yeah, true. Although
it's definitely been marketed very, very heavily here in recent, weeks or months.
Has it?
Oh yeah,
I've seen some. I don't catch that much mainstream media.
I don't even know where I've seen it exactly. I just know that it's been heavily marketed. They've got all sorts of endorsements. I guess from I don't know. I don't even know where from. Just like endorsements all over the place. So
says here that plant-based protein is what this Beyond Meat is, and they say that naturally rich in protein, yellow peas are the primary ingredient used to create the protein in the Beyond Taco. So there you go. If you want to try a meatless taco, you might be able to do that.
Because meat is murder. Tasty, delicious, juicy murder.
What about the feelings of the plants? No one ever thinks about the poor peas.
I know. Don't they scream when they die?
That's what I've heard. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live. More coming up.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is a 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Just dial in toll free here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Chris.
So, if you're just tuning in, the beginning of the last hour, we started a story from The Guardian about Facebook and their proposed new, I'm going to put air quotes around this, cryptocurrency. Now, I don't know if Zuckerberg himself has actually used the term cryptocurrency to describe this, but the news media is using the term cryptocurrency simply because it's the buzzword.
It is.
Oh, some sort of digital currency is out there. It must be a cryptocurrency. Well, no, as we talked about in the last hour, there's certain factors that we believe should be applied or be met by anything claiming to be a cryptocurrency.
This sounds more like something that's akin to like a gift certificate,
a private currency, basically.
Right.
Disney bucks,
right? Exactly,
or whatever points system. You buy 10 pizzas, you get your 11th pizza free,
which are certainly things of value. I mean, people trade Amazon
coupons,
gift certificates. They trade all sorts of things, but. And yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't even say that there's no place for centralized digital currencies, because I think there are things they'd be very useful for, like replacing the commodities market. But yeah,
don't tell me it's a crypto though. Don't tell me it's cryptocurrency.
Right.
Yeah, the thing is, you want it to be able to interface with cryptocurrencies. So you can, for trading back and forth easily.
Well, that's another question.
It's not a crypto.
Will you be able to buy the Facebook global coin with real cryptocurrencies? Not that you would want to. But
didn't they say that they didn't you already read that they would be accepting them?
I don't think I did. I think.
Okay.
I think all it said here in the story was that they expect to make it so you can, purchase it with international currencies.
Interesting. Well, I'd put the Facebook coin definitely ahead of the Petro, but
yep, that's probably true, and it'll probably come out before the Petro does. I mean, the Venezuelan Petro has still yet to manifest.
I am about as skeptical of this as I am about the Petro.
Yeah,
I don't think
they have a profit motive here. They're going to get it done.
You think
this is going to come out?
Because there's so many projects from companies that get in on the hype, but they never actually release anything.
That's true, and this is awfully early for them to be talking about.
This is a year out. I mean, this sounds like, let's get in on the hype. Let's act like we're doing something when
It could fizzle. You're right.
One technique that companies will use is, software companies are famous for this. Somebody announces a product that's going to come out in a year, and you say, oh, well, in a year and a half, I'm going to have a product that's twice as good. And so people wait for you. Well, that's called vaporware, because quite often that product never shows up.
It could happen that way. Obviously, that's a possibility. This thing could get shelved or delayed even longer or never come out. However, as you pointed out, Rich, they already have a payments system. They already have something called Facebook Payments. And as I understand, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I do have some. It's one of those things where you tie it to your debit card. So you put your debit card information into the back end, and then it basically allows you to debit payments from your account to other people's Facebook Payments accounts.
Actually, the way it worked for me, and I don't know if there are other ways, but they sent me
a physical card,
a physical Discover card with a Facebook logo on it, because somebody made a $100 donation to me when I was in jail years ago, and so they sent me this card in the mail, and I was able to spend $100. And
so, what's on it now? Is it just blank? Is it empty?
Yeah, it's empty now. As far as I know.
Can you reload it?
I could,
or was that just a gift card?
I could reload it, or if somebody sent me another present on Facebook, then it would be credited to this card and it would be available to me, which is why I still have the card. But, you know, I'm trying to escape Facebook anyway, so sure. I don't expect it.
So let me give you a little bit more to this story. So they're teaming up with the central banks, the UK Central Bank and the U.S. Treasury Department, and they want to base it on a so-called basket of established currencies. Further, the claim here from The Guardian is Facebook is looking at paying users fractions of a coin for activities such as viewing ads and interacting with content related to online shopping, similar to loyalty schemes run by retailers.
Also similar to Steemit, who they might not have wanted to mention, and several other actual crypto-based platforms out there.
I don't think Steemit pays you for viewing ads. There are no
not
ads.
For viewing ads. In Steemit, you get...
I wouldn't say this is like Steemit at all. Steemit, you get rewarded for posting content. Steemit's a cryptocurrency that is an somewhat inflationary crypto, meaning that whenever people are voting up the content on Steemit, they're actually creating new crypto into existence. As I understand it, that's how.
Interesting.
As I recall, because we had a long debate on Free Talk Live about Steemit when it came out. It was me versus Daryl. Daryl was completely against Steemit. He thought it was a scam. I was like, well, if it's a scam, that's fine. I just got paid, cryptocurrency from, actually making a blog post. I'd never been paid for blogging ever in my entire life of, at that point, 10 years worth of blogs on freekeen.com. They never earned a dime, with the exception of an occasional donation that might have come into a PayPal account.
But people are very quick to call anything they don't understand a scam in the crypto world, and I think that they did it with Lino, which could be a scam.
It could be,
but it could also be a tax dodge.
Well, for now, and that was my point maybe Steemit was going to be a scam. It's still there, so I don't think it is a scam, but if it is, it's a real long con. But you can withdraw Steemit and exchange it on exchanges for real Bitcoin. I mean,
I don't know enough about Steemit, but it sounds to me like it was here's my gut feeling is it was advertised as some sort of protocol or something, and so it wasn't a protocol, it was a website that gave you crypto. And
it's a cryptocurrency.
Your posts, I've looked at the Steemit blockchain and seen my unformatted posts there. So it is going onto the blockchain, which means you could, if you had the Steemit server software, you could set it up on your own machine and have, I assume, a full Steemit node plus an instance of the Steemit website.
So
I don't know if they've
you could have an
released
uncensored
the code
Steemit
for that.
node or an uncensored Steemit website.
And is Steem an actual cryptocurrency itself as well?
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and
you're able to exchange that for a real
one.
cryptocurrency. Are you able to exchange that for a real cryptocurrency?
Yeah. Yes,
it's available on multiple exchanges.
Okay.
I buy and sell it, or bought it and sold it.
It's one of the bigger
Bittrex.
ones. I mean, I don't know what its rank is right now, but
it's all over. It's a real deal, and there are other websites using Steam. DLive was going to be one of them, and I'm saddened that they didn't go with it, because I think it would be great if we had a single coin that was powering a whole ecosystem of websites.
Steam is currently worth about 39 cents per unit, and it is ranked at number 60 globally according to CoinMarketCap.com. There was a time, though, when Steam first launched where it was in the top 10, which is why it got so much attention, and for good reason. What they really did with Steam, and I realize we've gone astray from the Facebook discussion here, but the neat thing that they did with Steemit is they made it so people on social media could actually get paid for creating content. So normally on social media, you are the product, right? Like Facebook is selling your content that you're putting up there. You're putting your pictures of your party or wherever it is that, your birthday party or whatever it is people put up on Facebook, and then they're spending time on the platform, and Facebook's monetizing that.
Right.
You don't get any money out of that. Facebook gets all the money.
Right.
So the idea was, instead of people, and people, especially younger people, get all excited about likes. Ooh, I got all these likes.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for them. Well, on Steemit, if you get likes, that translates into cryptocurrency. So the more likes, the more upvotes you get, the more crypto that you receive in your Steemit wallet, which you can then again exchange on exchanges for Bitcoin or whatever other cryptocurrency you want. So they've actually made a social networking site, or a social blogging. I guess social blogging is probably the best term, because they're mostly just blog posts that are there. But you post something, people like it, it gets shared around, and you get crypto for it.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. There's more coming up here. 855 450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. It's Free Talk Live. You're invited. You may join us here if you want. You can take control of the airwaves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've been focusing a little bit on the world of cryptocurrency here tonight, but specifically a questionable crypto, the one that the mainstream media is calling cryptocurrency. We're saying, yeah, it doesn't look or sound like a crypto. We don't know yet for sure, because Facebook has yet to release their so-called global coin, which is slated for 2020 at this point. But you want to look into some real cryptocurrencies, get over to Bitcoin.com. It's your premier source for everything Bitcoin Cash related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin Cash wallet, buy Bitcoin Cash, and show you where you can spend your Bitcoin Cash. You can also read the latest news or engage with the community on their forums over at Bitcoin.com. Plus, they're launching a brand new site coming up on June 4th. It'll be called local.bitcoin.com. Many of you may have heard of Local Bitcoins, which has been a long-time website. I've actually got news about them tonight, banning Iran.
Iran, yeah.
Which is terrible of them to do that, but we can talk about that. But local.bitcoin.com, I suspect, will not be banning Iran or anyone else anywhere on the planet, because local.bitcoin.com is not going to do any know your customer requirements in order to use their site, because apparently they're going to be encrypting communications between buyers and sellers. This will be a way for you to buy and or sell Bitcoin Cash.
And these are going to be direct user-to-user transfers, right? So there's
going to be
the site isn't buying and selling.
There's going to, instead of so with Local Bitcoins, there's a wallet on the site that you have to fund.
Right.
Here, there will not be a wallet on the site. There will be a smart contract of some sort, because as I understand it, they've now implemented smart contracts into Bitcoin Cash. This is what I've heard. And so there will be basically like a what's the word they used? Like a kind of like a trust. They've got a certain term for it, like almost like a trustless escrow, where there's a contract basically that is the escrow rather than a website.
Well, that's pretty easy to do if you can talk to all the chains, because it's like the first person sends their coin to the escrow wallet. And then he's allowed to revoke it until the second person sends his coin. And when the second person sends his coin, the transaction completes.
Well,
so you would just have to have a mechanism where if this
isn't going to be an exchange. This is a place where you can buy and sell Bitcoin Cash. So it won't involve other cryptocurrencies, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So this is just local Bitcoin.
This is
or
the
just
equivalent
Bitcoin
of,
Cash.
Yeah. So it's their competitor to local Bitcoins, which has been around for many years. So this one's going to be called local.bitcoin.com, and it'll, as I understand it, just be for the purchase and sale of Bitcoin Cash. But you can go there now and sign up for an account and get started with that, though it'll officially launch on June 4th. So we were talking about Facebook. They are launching a currency of some sort. They say they're looking at paying users fractions of a coin for watching ads, which, of course, this has been a long time, scam claim or whatever on the internet is, we'll pay you to watch advertisements.
This reminds me of All Advantage.
Yes, that's right. I had forgotten the name of it.
It reminds you of what?
All Advantage.
All Advantage. What was that?
There was a bunch of other competitors to it. Yeah. So basically, they would have...
This is like 1998, 1999. Yes. Yep. This is a long time ago.
So basically, you would install this application on your computer, and it was this bar, basically, and it would just have a banner ad on literally the bottom of your computer screen. And as long as you were basically looking at, the ad was up, it was like permanently up on your screen all times. Like you couldn't remove it unless you, or if you did, it would you wouldn't get paid for it anymore. And you'd get pennies for watching, but it was a pyramid type scheme.
Right.
So every time you recruited somebody else to run it, you would get a fraction of their pennies for watching.
Yeah.
That for all the time they spent watching it. And anyway, basically, long story short, it was a very interesting scheme. And the reason it probably failed to a large degree is one, just watching it. You could do like $20 a month or a week or something like that is basically what you'd end up making. But if you had like a lot of people under you, and you ran, there were these programs like. I don't know if you call them cracks, but they create fake users.
Oh man!
So you could actually end up
stacking your pyramid with
right. So you could actually end up making real money, doing it. But as a result, it didn't really work, economically. And I don't know that they really had a lot of enough advertisers probably to make it work either. And the ads at that time, I think, they weren't worth anywhere near what they are today. Today, you actually advertising actually costs money, but back in those days, it didn't. And so, it was just
according to
a
Wikipedia article about them, they only existed for about 2 years.
Yeah, sounds about right.
They raised nearly $200 million in venture capital, launched in March of 1999, and eventually grew to more than 10 million members in its first 18 months of operation. The company's practice of compensating existing members for referring new members led it to become one of the most heavily promoted websites of its time. I had an account.
Everybody had an account.
That's why I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it, Rich, because you were definitely on the web in 1999. The popularity...
I didn't have any interest in trying to make nickels and dimes watching ads in 1999. I was making like $200K a year.
Sweet. The popularity was reflected in the ranking of alladvantage.com among the top 20 of many website traffic indices, including during most of the company's existence. And then it does go on to say that they ultimately fell victim to the sharp decline in advertising spending as the dot-com bubble burst and the U.S. economy entered a recessionary period in mid-2000. All Advantage planned an initial public offering of stock in 2000 at some point, underwritten by an investment banker. As the IPO market continued to sour, the offering plans were canceled. The company continued to seek new sources of revenue and expanded its offerings to include sweepstakes. They finally halted their consumer-facing operations in February of 2001. By the time they closed their doors, they had paid out over $160 million to their members. So, at least they did what they said they were going to do, even though it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, I think there may have been a precursor to it even too, where you would get a free computer basically for watching ads. And I think that predates what they're describing there.
So Facebook's bringing this back, paying people to watch ads, which will be a pittance of money. You know that's going to be the case.
And it has to be a pittance, because who's going to pay a lot of money to show ads to people who don't have any?
Right.
You know?
The last people you want to see your ads.
Yeah,
right?
the people who absolutely aren't going to buy anything because they're willing to sit there for 15 minutes and watch your video for a nickel.
Yeah, it's true. It's interesting. I could see them, encouraging people through incentivizing people to like use Facebook more. But the idea that they actually advertise this as a way to like, I don't know, as a system to basically pay people for watching ads is probably where the mistake is.
What do? I watch ads.
Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. All right, so coming up, Russia is apparently planning to launch a cryptocurrency. Now, we've seen the failure of the Petro, which is the Venezuelan so-called crypto. Can Russia get it right?
We're still seeing the failure of the Petro.
Yeah, more on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. Our number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, will Russia be able to get it right where Venezuela has completely blown it? We followed, in as much detail as we can, the absolute failure, continuing failure of the Venezuelan so-called Petro, the, quote, cryptocurrency that they've been pitching now for a year and a half almost. It was supposed to have launched back in February of 2018. And still, no one has seen any evidence that this thing actually exists or is acquirable or is tradable, despite them having a purported wallet now. And despite them claiming that this thing is being accepted for something, not sure what, we've yet to been able to figure it out. No one's been able to get, like, you can download
their wallet.
the wallet.
Does their wallet even? I mean, how do you know? Well, if
Chris
you can't get
Friedman
it, right?
downloaded the wallet,
right? But he said he couldn't actually get.
He couldn't get it to do anything.
Well, you have to go through all sorts of know your customer stuff just to set your wallet up.
Right.
See, that's the thing.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Wait, really?
Yeah, it's a KY coin.
Oh, these guys want
to... The Petro is. The Petro wallet.
The Petro.
Yeah, you have to go through know your customer
It's
stuff.
highly regulated, highly controlled.
It's run by commies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's run by the government.
This is news to me.
expect?
This whole time that
You're
he was having problems... Yeah, like this whole time he was having problems, I just assumed that it was because the wallet was intentionally defective. And
it doesn't work. Yeah, the wallet doesn't work. Yeah, I don't think you can even get this.
But
even
there was some sort of know your customer thing in there.
I suspect so. I've never actually used it.
Okay.
Okay. I thought that's what you guys were saying. That it was KYC stuff.
I'm certain it is.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it actually works. I don't think the wallet actually works. I don't think you can actually get the Petro. Look, I don't know if you were here when we did the detail. I think it was just maybe Rich and I on an after show. I don't know if you were here for that, Chris. But for listeners who were not tuned in for this, we dug into the Petro on a recent I think Freer Talk Live and tried our best to figure out if anyone actually has a Petro.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an exchange. There are apparently 6 or 7 highly state-regulated exchanges in Venezuela, where if you want to sign up for the exchange, you've got to show them a power bill, you've got to show them identification, you've got to put in what is the equivalent of your social security number in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very lengthy process to get on the exchange.
Okay.
But when we were reading articles about these exchanges, there was one that has a Bitcoin/Petro trading pair.
Okay.
Where they will, in theory, allow you to trade Bitcoin for a petro. However, there's no evidence that you can withdraw the petro from the exchange. So effectively, what they're calling a petro doesn't really appear to be anything beyond just a token on an exchange at this point. So until you can actually get that petro under your own wallet, whether you can actually control it or not is a whole other question, because it's, again, going to be centrally managed and centrally controlled. But
didn't they also say it was based off Dash?
That's the claim.
I don't understand how it could be based off Dash and then be centrally controlled.
First, it was going to be an Ethereum token.
You set up you copy the software, you set up your own mining machines, and you don't let anybody else mine. I mean, the Dash guy did it mining in his wallet.
So there's no evidence, from what I can tell, from all the research we were able to do, that there is any petro whatsoever. Beyond this one exchange, which in the article, the spokesperson for the exchange would not give any statistics on how trading is going. Like, they wouldn't tell you anything about the volume or anything like that. They would just say
or the price.
That it was. All they would say was that it was increasing.
Yes.
Right. Call me skeptical.
Right. Everybody who is, paying any attention should be very skeptical to about the petro.
Comrade Juan, yes. You spent 3 pennies on exchange yesterday. Yes. Spend 4 pennies tomorrow so we can continue to say it's growing.
Increasing, yeah. All right. So let's get into the Russia story, Rich Paul, nobody. Because Russia is now claiming, apparently, that they're going to launch a cryptocurrency. Have any of these state-sponsored cryptos actually come to fruition? Because I remember there was Federated Micronesia, I think, said they were going to do one. There was another.
Was that Indocoin?
No.
Oh,
that's
okay.
That's a different one.
Because that was developed in Indonesia.
Yeah,
that's how it got its
or at the very
name.
least, it was developed for Indonesia. I'm not sure if it was in Indonesia, but
I have to wonder if it's an indication of desperation from the governments who are doing this. Is Russia really getting to that point where it's that desperate?
I think Russia's getting into a very good point where Russia and China have been acquiring gold for a long time. And the thing is, I think they want to be able to exploit their gold stocks without letting that physical gold leave the country.
Okay.
So that's, obviously, except when you cash the stuff in. But the other thing is, there is a real reason for having a gold-backed cryptocurrency, which is, if you buy 4 quarter-ounce gold coins, it costs a lot more than it costs to buy 1 1-ounce gold coin. And if you buy 10...
There's time and effort involved in making those coins, so they have a value beyond just the hunk of silver that they are. They're dated as well, and so they've got the numismatic value to collectors who want to have every year's worth of the coin.
Well, that's true, but setting numismatics value aside, the other thing is it's more spendable. It's
more useful for that.
If you give somebody an ounce of gold, they've got to give you like $1,100 in change if you make $100 purchase.
That's hard to do.
That is hard to do. So. And also, gold is not easily shipped. I shipped some gold to New Hampshire from South Carolina because I was an investor in Bloom's Brewery, and I had to pay money to insure it and all that.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you have a gold-backed crypto that's really redeemable for species, then you solve both of those problems. You can buy a cup of coffee and pay in gold. A couple of gold satoshis, and
nobody has to make change,
right? But then once you've accumulated, like say you've made a full coin equal to an ounce, once you've accumulated an ounce of these bits and pieces of silver dust, you can take it to somebody who redeems them and trade it in for a solid gold coin. So that is beautiful stuff.
Well, and one of the other points that was made by the Liberty Dollar folks, because remember we talked about on Free Talk Live, I think it was in 2018, Liberty Dollar came back into existence, which for longtime listeners, the Liberty Dollar was America's top alternative currency back before Bitcoin was a thing. Liberty Dollar actually had their offices raided by the federal government.
Oh, yeah.
And they stole a large amount of gold and silver, and I think even some copper, from Liberty Dollar. Ultimately, it went to court, and the court did finally order the silver and such to be returned to their to the people who claimed that they'd owned it. So it kind of worked out in the long run, but it took like a decade for that to finally shake out. The founder of the Liberty Dollar, Bernard von Nothaus, ended up getting a suspended sentence, probation or something like that, for supposedly like violating copyright law or counterfeiting laws, I think it was.
What?
Yeah, they didn't like the fact that he put the Statue of Liberty and the word.
But there was more to it than that, which is Liberty Dollar, and this bothered me in the day, and I actually, I sent him an email about it one time, and the problem is they suggested that you spend these things as if they were actually U.S. currency with because they had $20 stamped on it. They said you should sell this, or you should use this as a $20 coin, which that is actually illegal because you're trying to pass it as legal tender.
There's more coming up here. 855 450
Are
free.
You, though?
855
just because they're settling debts.
450-3733 free. Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about cryptocurrency, specifically Russia. We're going to get into the story here in a little bit, that they are ostensibly planning to launch their own gold-backed cryptocurrency, and Rich has that story. Our toll-free number here is 855-450 free, and I do still want to know if any of these governments who've talked about doing a cryptocurrency, because I can think of at least a couple. I'm pretty sure it was Federated Micronesia. There's one of these like little micro island nations that was talking about it. Like they wanted to issue their own crypto, and they wanted to invite crypto people to their island because they need money, so they want the crypto people to come live there or whatever. I don't know if anything panned out with that. We know the Petro's an absolute S show, and that's never even come out. So if you know of one, you want to join the conversation, please do. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. By the way, I want to invite you over to liberty.menu if you're an individual who rejects the initiation of force and you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principles. If you're a liberty-minded person, you should be at liberty.menu. Not only is it a listings service for services, so if you have a business, if you have a digital content, maybe a show that you do, you've got an event that you help coordinate, it should be on liberty.menu if you want Liberty people to know about it. If you want to stay in the closet, then you probably shouldn't be there. But if you want people to know about your business, then get over to liberty.menu, add yourself to the map. You can add more than one thing if you do more than one thing. So it's free. And it works, and it's a good-looking site, and it works well. Check it out over at liberty.menu. You can also use code FTL, like Free Talk Live, to get a Free Talk Live listener badge there on your profile. It's liberty.menu. As we continue here, one of the other things I wanted to say about the idea of a gold-backed or silver-backed or some precious metal-backed cryptocurrency, I think it's an interesting concept. And I was excited to hear last year that the Liberty Dollar was going to make a comeback as a silver-backed cryptocurrency. I'm sad to see that it seems to have stalled in its initial fundraiser. It's only at about looks like about 6,000 of their 10,000. They're offering 10,000 initial fundraising tokens to try to kind of get the ball rolling, and it feels like it's been kind of sitting at about 4,000 tokens remaining. About 3,896 tokens remain at the moment, and I feel like it's been sitting there for a while. So I don't know what's going on with the LD2coin.io, their website, LD2coin.io. But one of the points they made in their white paper is, unlike your typical cryptocurrency where it could go to zero, right? Like whatever we're talking about, whether it's Bitcoin Dash, Bitcoin Cash, it could fail, right? Something catastrophic could happen. People could lose interest in it. It could go under. The idea behind this was that, well, if it's backed by silver, then the crypto version of it should never go below the price of an ounce of silver. That it should at the very least always have that floor attached to it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so long as it remains redeemable, it should.
Right.
And the other thing is the way I would envision using a metal-backed cryptocurrency is I probably wouldn't keep all of my metal in crypto. So we might do a transaction where I handed you 2 ounces of bullion, but what you wanted was 2.13 ounces of bullion. So then I'd send you 0.13 ounces of bullion from my crypto for the change. Yeah. And once you had a full coin, you could trade it to somebody else for another full coin.
Right. So let's get into the Russia story. So where is this coming from, Rich? Do you have it in front of you?
It's coming from Russia. And
the news. Where's the news
being covered by Coindesk.com.
Okay.
The author is Daniel Palmer, and the title is Russian Central Bank to Consider Gold-Backed Cryptocurrency. Russia's central bank will consider the use of a gold-backed cryptocurrency to facilitate international settlements, according to a TASS report.
Just for international settlements. So they're not
True.
talking about letting it out.
Well, I'm not sure, because it could be they would be using it for international settlements and other people would be using it for other things.
Could be.
But let's see. She said at the nation's lower house, or Duma, as for mutual settlements, we will consider, of course, a gold-backed cryptocurrency, but in my opinion, it's more important to develop settlements in national currencies. That's disappointing, but maybe she doesn't know anything about economics. She added that...
Good chance. There's a good chance.
Yeah. She added that fiat currency settlement systems within the Eurasian Economic Unit are improving and have good dynamics. The news is perhaps surprising, as Russia's government has been famously anti-crypto in past years, moving to block foreign exchange platforms from the country in 2017, and even blocking media sites that covered the topic back in 2015.
Really?
A minister once said that Russia would never make cryptocurrencies legal.
Wow.
However,
they're censoring the news about crypto?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Or blocking, yeah. I don't know the details
They're
of it.
really afraid of it.
Well, check out the article, because the word blocking is a link, and there's probably more details. However, the nation has softened its stance somewhat in it says more years, in recent years, with moves to legislate around cryptocurrency. Starting in 2017, a digital assets bill could be passed, the current session of the Duma, TASS indicates. According to today's report, she said, well, it may mull the use of a gold-backed cryptocurrency. The central bank is against the use of cryptocurrency in Russia's monetary system. We do not see the possibility that cryptocurrencies could act as monetary surrogates.
Is against a cryptocurrency for money purposes within the country.
Well,
that's what they just said there, right?
Yeah, as part of their official monetary system. Right. But it sounds like they are going to be legalizing some cryptographic assets. So hopefully they'll be able to use like Bitcoin Cash or Dash or whatever.
I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Yeah, call me skeptical.
Yeah, well, I'm skeptical too, but I don't know. The other thing, of course, in dealing with the government, it may well be that there's a good idea, but only one of the people understanding the idea, only one of the people talking about the idea actually understands it, and everybody else is just blowing smoke.
Yep.
And that is short article. That was it.
Yeah, I think that whenever we see these governments talking about cryptocurrencies, that's really all it is. It's just them blowing hot air because they don't know what they're doing. These central banks, they don't know anything about cryptocurrencies. They may have, like you said, maybe one or two people on staff who've got a grasp on it, but these old banker dinosaurs, I mean, these people are clueless about this stuff.
Well, the old banker dinosaurs, if they were a couple of centuries older and dinosaurier, then they would know that the origin of money was people dropped gold off at goldsmiths because they didn't want to carry it around.
Sure,
and they would carry around a warehouse receipt. And if they wanted to trade that gold to somebody else, they would give them the warehouse receipt,
right?
And that would be traded for the gold. And you could trade in the warehouse receipts of many different vendors. That, to me, would be the real basis for a gold-backed cryptocurrency. You want to have distributed stores of physical coins.
Liberty Dollar had that. They had warehouse receipts.
They didn't have it distributed.
They had, you're
Liberty
right. They only
Dollar
had one location.
Incorporated owned all of it. Also, even if they had many locations, if you know who the company is, you can find all the locations. But if you would have to go to, go raid 10,000 coin shops in the United States, that would be a lot more difficult.
This is very true.
And also a lot more politically difficult, politically dangerous, because, all those coin shop owners have friends and supporters, and that's, if you use Daryl Carnegie's 150 people each, then busting 10,000 coin shop owners would leave you with 1.5 million irritated people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the logistics of getting all that to function correctly, getting the redemption aspect of it, taking your crypto and then turning it into actual silver. There's costs involved.
The big problem is what happens if you show up at a coin shop who's advertising that he will redeem these things and he doesn't have any actual specie, or
doesn't have enough.
Right, and the thing that when I was in jail thinking about this, the idea that I had is if you did that, then, upload a video of that interaction and there'll be some way to fine him like 1/10 of a coin. So create a liability for him.
We can continue, and you can join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, the border control of your devices may be changing, and Chris Wade's got the story. On the way in Hour 3, this is Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of this program. You, as always, are invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you here tonight, you've got me, Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Chris.
We're going to get into a story, Chris, that you brought to share with us tonight about the Border Patrol, the Customs and Border Enforcement. They have been seizing devices like cell phones and laptop computers at the border, and they demand you put your password in. If you don't, they'll just keep it, and you'll probably never see it again. So we'll talk more about what's going on because there's an update in that situation. The Electronic Frontier Foundation has been suing, but there's also another piece of news that you're going to share with us coming up here in a moment. But
Absolutely.
First, we're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts to start things out. We have Matthew in Louisiana listening via the TuneIn app. Go ahead, Matthew.
So y'all talking about the Facebook Bitcoin. And the main thing I was thinking about is who's going to keep it secure from Facebook?
It's not going to be. It's not going to be a. We're just going to go on and think on a limb. I think I can speak for all three of us in saying I don't think any of us think this is going to be a cryptocurrency. It's not going to be decentralized. It's not going to be distributed. It's going to be completely centrally controlled and managed by Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you heard that Facebook basically they lost CrossFit training as a client because
CrossFit framing?
Training.
Oh, training, the exercise group.
Okay.
CrossFit.
Right.
Okay.
They have a discussion group about, how all the medical advice we've been getting is bad, and for the last 50 years, and how we should concentrate on healthy fats and avoid sugars at all costs, et cetera, ad infinitum. It's something I've kind of thought about myself, but that's not allowed on Facebook because that's contrary to the prevailing wisdom of the medical community.
Wait, really?
Really? Hold on. So
Yeah.
wait a minute. Are you saying that CrossFit, which is like a nationwide, this is a pretty big, popular workout program from what I understand.
Yeah.
An ex-girlfriend of mine was in CrossFit for a time. They have one here in the Monadnock region. There's one in Keene. This is a big company. I mean, it is well represented. You're saying CrossFit is no longer allowed to even have any kind of corporate page or existence on Facebook? Is that what you're saying?
That discussion group on CrossFit training's Facebook page got banned, and then CrossFit just was like, no. And then so they pulled out. They were a sponsor of Facebook. They were paying to have a commercial web page, not web Facebook page. Is that what you call it? Yeah, whatever you call it. Anyway, so I read all. I didn't read this, but I saw this on Tim Pool's Timcast.
So according to Reason.com, they've got an article about this. Looks like it was published today. So this is pretty big recent news. It says here that Facebook deleted without warning or explanation what they called a Banting 7-day meal plan user group. The group had 1.65 million users.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't even know you could have groups that big on Facebook who posted testimonials and other information regarding the efficacy of a low-carb, high-fat diet. While the site has subsequently been reinstated, also without warning or explanation, Facebook's action should give any serious person reason to pause, especially those of us engaged in activities contrary to prevailing opinion. Now, this is an official statement from CrossFit. That is what I'm reading this excerpt from here. This is more from CrossFit. They say Facebook serves as a de facto authority over the public square, arbitrating a worldwide exchange of information as well as overseeing the security of the individuals and communities who entrust their ideas, work, and private data to this platform. This mandates a certain responsibility and assurance of good faith, transparency, and due process. Now, I don't agree with the interpretation that Facebook has authority over a public square. Facebook is not a public square, and the people who want to liken Facebook to some sort of public utility are dangerous people because they.
You can go argue with them. That would be Stexenhammer, Tim Pool.
I don't know who these people
are. Carl Benjamin.
Those names are meaningless to me.
I want to see the debate.
I don't know who those people are. I don't know why I would want to argue with them.
I'll argue with anybody. Send them over.
Because what, Matthew?
We need to have a debate about it.
Why?
I've been trying to get them to call y'all. They won't do it.
Well, it's clear they don't want to debate. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate that.
I think he's talking about like a bunch of socialists and tech socialist people.
Okay, you've heard the names?
I haven't heard those specific names, but I do know that the tech world, there's a bunch of people, famous people in the tech world, who are basically having that public square debate and want to regulate these huge tech companies basically.
Yeah, and I always take a shaded position on things. On the one hand, no, Facebook is not a public square because it's private property.
That's right.
But on the other hand,
people like Cantwell that want to change
social media should be a public square, and the way to do that is to develop a distributed social media system.
Absolutely.
So that it's public because nobody can be thrown off it. But that's a technological solution. There is no government solution. You can't just nationalize Facebook.
But that's what people like Chris Cantwell want. And it's not just Chris Cantwell, it's also people on the left.
He's a socialist now. He's a Nazi. He's a national socialist, so he wants to...
Well, he's more like a fascist, but
Well, yeah,
He's
okay,
a total
yeah.
statist, basically.
There's certainly solutions to these problems.
That's just the only N-word I can use. So.
There's Mastodon in replacement of Twitter, for example. It's decentralized.
It's great.
That works great.
We both use it. I think Rich is on there now.
Mastodon would fit my description of a public square, because if you look at Mastodon space, because anybody can download their own server and run it on their own computer.
Right.
So
Anybody
even
who knows
if you
how to run
get
a
kicked
server.
off every existing Mastodon instance, you can still be on Mastodon.
Sure,
And people can still connect directly to your server and find out what you have to say.
Yep.
Now, if nobody's doing that, then you've obviously wasted your time, because nobody wanted to hear what you were saying anyway, and you might want to get a job baking cookies or something.
Nobody,
but
you might have the right to speak, but nobody has to listen.
That's correct.
Yeah, nobody has an obligation to listen to you.
Because the Mastodon platform is a federated platform, that means the other people running servers can just ignore you. They can disconnect from you, and you don't get to talk to them.
Yeah, and you can be clicked off in a particular instance, but that's okay, because you can just sign up for another instance, or create your own instance and basically be in total control of your own domain.
Wow.
Which you guys have
Should
done,
I feel bad that I've never been thrown off a Mastodon server? Is that something like if you haven't been banned from Facebook, you should up your game?
I mean, I don't know. We've set up our own, my partner and I have set up our own servers so that nobody's in control of us and what we say. But I think you have signed up with the Libertarian server, right?
Which is a Libertarian
instance,
Mastodon
right?
server.
Mastodon instance. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of depends on how much do you trust your other Libertarian?
Well, right. I mean, whoever's running that could get a hair up his butt and
right.
shut the thing down or go ban crazy or whatever. In which case, I have yet to actually verify this, but I believe you can download your profile and re-upload it to another server. I would be shocked
people would
if it
still
didn't
be
have
following you.
No, you'd probably have to repoint somehow. I don't know how that would work, but at the very least, you wouldn't be able to lose your content.
If they're following you by your full Mastodon ID, it would be like following somebody's email address. It wouldn't matter if they moved.
Doesn't matter what instance you're
if they moved the server.
No, it does matter.
Well, you can see people across servers. You can follow people on other servers.
So someone could search for you and find your new profile. But I don't think that you would necessarily retain all your followers if you had to move.
Yeah,
servers.
I don't think that's how that works. I mean, I could be wrong,
but I could be wrong too. I've never actually tried
that would be really awesome.
I think I should try that tonight.
Yeah, if you can sign somebody up and follow you, and then take that profile and move it to a different server.
Yeah,
I want to know, because that is really cool.
There is a thing that does something like that, and it's called Node Solid, and it's this thing I've been talking about that's developed by the original author of the World Wide Web.
Oh, right, yeah.
All right, we got more on the way here. You can bring up whatever you want. We can go back to get into this border device story that Chris brought in, or we can talk further about CrossFit versus Facebook. CrossFit not happy about what happened to their group. It's Free Talk Live. It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Coming up 3 weeks from tonight, I think we're all going to be, I don't know if you're going to be there yet, but I know you're going to be at Fork Fest.
I absolutely am.
Yeah, I know you're going to be traveling this. You're not going to be able to make the whole thing. Right?
I got a flight coming back on Saturday.
Sweet.
So I'll probably be there Saturday evening.
Awesome.
Wow.
All right.
Where are you coming back from?
Let's see, North Carolina, Southeast
kind of family
Linux
thing?
Fest.
Oh, it's a fest.
I got to give a speech. Actually, the same speech I'm going to give at Pork Fest.
Oh, right on.
Fork Fest. Sorry. Or one
at
of the
Alt
two.
Expo. You're going to do it. At the Alt Expo.
Yeah. So
you're coming to Fork Fest. Rich and I, we're going to be there, I imagine, on day one.
Yep. Yeah. I'll definitely be there. Probably, I don't know, maybe... Is anybody going up before? I guess there's nothing to set up. I mean,
just your own
it's
site.
All decentralized.
Yeah, your own tent site or whatever.
That's cool.
So we'll be there at June 13th through the 18th. That's coming up in 3 weeks. That starts on a Thursday. It ends on a Tuesday, so it'll be through the weekend. And there's going to be a lot happening. But what is it all going to be? I have no idea. I don't know what all is going to be going on at Fork Fest because It's decentralized. There's no central repository. There's no.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. We do have a little bit of an idea what's going on.
I have a little bit of an idea, but I don't know what all is going on.
Right, that's true.
There's a bunch of stuff happening that I don't know what
Certainly,
it is.
we know about Man Camp. We know.
Yeah, was it Man Camp? Yeah, Man Camp.
Yeah, Man Camp. We know about the Alt Expo. There's gonna be some talks. I'm giving one.
AnyPay.global's throwing parties at night.
AnyPay is throwing some parties.
Dance parties. The big gay dance parties coming back.
Yep. I mean, so there's certainly stuff that we know about, and it's going to be happening. Yeah. It's going to be a great time. So
there's going to be some people are going to be cooking apparently this year. So I think the food.
I think Johnson said he was coming.
Did he? Okay, good.
Yep, I believe he's going to be cooking. So
the food selection will be increased from last year because it basically was non-existent last year.
Yeah, we had to go off the campground in order to get
most
food.
of the time. At least at nighttime, there was
a little bit.
Patrick from Liberty.menu was doing breakfast, but he was the only one doing anything last year. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be better attended. There's more buzz. Sure. There's more buzz about it this year.
We're probably going to have twice the number of people as last year, excluding the wedding that occurred.
True. So we're looking forward to it. You can join us there. It is a decentralized libertarian camping event. It's happening here in New Hampshire in the beautiful White Mountains at a place called Rogers Campground. And if you've never been there, you're probably going to love it. You'll be surrounded by natural splendor and also some really cool liberty-minded folks. Go to forkfest.party to learn more about it. It's June 13th through the 18th. There's no tickets. You just get your campsite and show up. June 13th through the 18th, forkfest.party. Now, it is followed by a different libertarian camping festival, the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which I think is entering its 16th year, maybe 17 if you count the year 0. But there's been a lot of porkfests, and that one you do need a ticket for, and you can go check out their website at porkfest.com. But go to forkfest, F-O-R-K-F-E-S-T, forkfest.party. There's a Telegram chat room with something like 70-plus people in there. It's a pretty active chat, and there's also a forum where people are posting, some of the things that they've got planned, what they want to do. Forkfest.party. We'll see you there. All right, so a little bit more here about this CrossFit thing because it's interesting, and we did talk earlier about Facebook, and then we'll get into the Border Patrol. But according to Reason.com, apparently the founder of CrossFit self-describes as a, quote, rabid libertarian. Interesting. They said that they did an interview with him 6 years ago from Reason.com. His name is Greg Glassman. The statement from CrossFit basically says that Facebook has, they're overseeing what they describe as a public square. Now, I think, we would quibble with whether or not it's public. It's certainly not. It's open to the public generally, but it's not public in that it is private property, and they should be able to set whatever rules they want to, and CrossFit should be able to walk away if they don't like the rules, and that's exactly what they're doing. CrossFit, this is from CrossFit's statement on the matter. They were, for listeners just tuning in, CrossFit had a large group banned off of Facebook, and then there was some amount of uproar over it, and so Facebook reinstated the group, and they never explained why they banned it, never explained why they reinstated it.
And it was 1.5 million users?
1.6
That's a
million.
lot of
1.6 million. That's as many people as the United States has active duty military and police were in that CrossFit.
Yeah, it's larger than several states.
Yeah.
It's larger than New Hampshire.
CrossFit Incorporated, as a voluntary user of and contributor to this marketplace, can and must remove itself from this particular manifestation of the public square when it becomes clear that such responsibilities are betrayed or reneged upon to the detriment of our community. That's the end of the excerpt from the statement, but Reason.com goes on with a little more. They say the statement lists 8 additional complaints about Facebook, which also owns Instagram. These include the platform's willingness to censor certain accounts or pages at the insistence of governments, its weak intellectual property protections, and its alleged willingness to act, quote, in the service of food and beverage industry interests by removing, quote, accounts of communities that have identified the corrupted nutritional science responsible for unchecked global chronic disease, unquote. So,
and I will say I'm on the keto diet myself, so this hits near, and I have had all kinds of harassment from doctors and medical people who, without examining me, will tell me that
you're wrong.
That I shouldn't be doing this, and.
How do these doctors harass you? Are they on Facebook giving you a hard time?
Not harassing me, but like I've had I've had I'll generally tell a doctor when I'm first going in just to see what it is, and they'll be like, "Oh, you need to stop." So not harass. I mean, the same way you harass somebody to stop smoking.
They're giving you an opinion when you're going to see them. They're not seeking you out and giving you a hard time.
So they're not chasing me around or anything, but it is irritating to have people say, "Oh, well, that's not your."
Guess what? People's bodies are different. Maybe different diets work differently for different people.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we don't think about with drug studies, where they say, "Oh, we did a study with 10,000 participants and nobody died of this drug." Well, what happens when you give it to 1 million participants?
Somebody might die.
Exactly. You may not have found the first allergy yet, but it could be common-ish.
Despite CrossFit's strong condemnation, at one point the statement declares that by purging dissenting views about low-carb, high-protein diets, quote, Facebook is complicit in the global chronic disease crisis, unquote. The company does hold open the possibility of returning if Facebook and Instagram restore, quote, good faith, transparency, and due process, unquote. This is one way that marketplaces, whether for goods and services or for ideas, are supposed to work. In the parlance of political economist Albert O. Hirschman, CrossFit is not simply exercising its right of exit by leaving Facebook, but also its right of voice by complaining publicly. In the best of all worlds, such actions wouldn't be necessary. Instead of taking it upon themselves to police more than true threats, and instead of calling for government regulation of expression, Facebook and other social media services would treat their platforms as free speech zones and focus instead on providing users with tools to personalize their experience. But
I like that Facebook doesn't do that, because that's what's going to drive people off of Facebook.
Yeah.
People came to the internet for free expression. Tell them to keep looking.
Yep. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. What happens when you try to cross the border with your electronic devices might be changing. Coming up, more on that. Free time.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free, bring up what you want, unless, of course, your phone was confiscated when you were crossing the border.
I hate it when that happens.
Can't call anybody in that case.
Right.
And that's what we're going to get into coming up here, and you can share your thoughts with us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight in the studio, it's Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Chris.
And also, don't forget, you can watch us online on our video streaming platforms, where we are on Twitch and also DLive. You can go to twitch.lrn.fm and follow us on the Twitch platform, or on the newer, supposedly decentralized DLive platform over at dlive.lrn.fm. Whether it's decentralized or not is another question, but it does seem to do a good job of delivering the video. So you can watch us there too. And are we doing an after show tonight, Rich? You in the mood?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, we'll do that. That's coming up later. It'll be after 10 o'clock at night Eastern time. So when we finish the radio show tonight, if you're on DLive or Twitch, stay tuned, because we'll start an after show at some point. I'm not sure.
Probably if you're not, you can sign up by going to
twitch.lrn.fm and dlive.lrn.fm. You can follow us there. All right. So, Chris, you've got an update. This isn't about the EFF's lawsuit. This is a different story about the invasion of privacy that is going on a regular basis in the United States at the border, at international border checkpoints, whether you're driving or you're flying. These bureaucrats can demand that you hand over your device or devices. In my case, when I was coming back from Acapulco, well, I wrote a lengthy version of it over at freekeen.com.
Well, a summary of it.
Yeah. So it was, my third time coming back from Acapulco. So I'd come back twice in previous years and had no issues. And this year they're like, you need to go over there. And you go into the secondary or whatever, this other room where I was kept for over 3 hours. and my devices were searched because I did allow them into the devices. I could have said no.
Yeah, it would have been my response.
Then they would have taken the devices. But I went in there prepared for it because, I know that this is something they can do. We've reported on these searches before, and so I prepare for it by unloading my cryptocurrency wallet, logging out, deleting Coinomi, that kind of thing, logging out of Edge or whatever, getting out of anything that they could have kind of gotten into and meddled in, log out of Gmail, log out of whatever stuff I can get out of, password protecting. Telegram and things like that. So there are things that you can do to sort of sanitize your device, if you will. Not to say that, there was anything that was illegal there. It's just like, I don't want them in my business. I don't want them reading my emails. I don't want them, even though they could get a warrant and search through it from Google or whatever. But, making it harder rather than easier on them is something that I would do. And so there was initially a bureaucrat who was just sort of like your typical uniformed, overweight New York guy, bureaucrat who wanted to search through the devices. And I said, okay, well, I'll let you do it, but I want to be able to watch it. And he was fine with that. So, okay, I watched him kind of do what I would describe as nothing more than a cursory search, like basically flipping through the photos, because I still had my background photos on my phone. So he's looking through my background photos. And, basically that's all he did. He just kind of did a cursory examination. But then after more waiting, there was a whole lot of waiting over this 3 hours. Then 2 plainclothes detectives came out wearing like badges on necklaces around their necks, those kind of guys. And they seemed to know more about, searching things. And then they took my devices. And while I protested to them, like, hey, I wanted to watch you do this. And they're like, well, this is our special border power. And they literally said something like that to me as they exited the room. They'd never asked me to put the laptop password back in, so I'm pretty sure they weren't able to do anything with the laptop, even though they took it with them. And because it was a Linux laptop.
Do you have an encrypted hard drive?
Yes.
They probably duplicated the entire drive is what most likely they did, and so some forensics person, because they even though they came specially for you, they probably were not forensics people.
Maybe.
And the reason they would have done that also is because
it's not going to do them much good to duplicate an encrypted drive.
No, it wouldn't. But the reason that they would duplicate the drive and hand it over to forensics people is because then they can use it in court. If they don't, then you could potentially argue, well, they compromised the evidence.
I suspect that they definitely I don't think they were back there long enough to, maybe they were, to take the hard drive out and actually duplicate it. I think they would have had an easier time duplicating the phone, like, basically just ripping the memory or whatever from the phone, because they had access to the phone. They definitely
and they have devices for that.
They have special.
They can just plug it in and press a button.
They have special devices, and I don't even know they would have to necessarily take the hard drive out of your laptop to duplicate it. So
it'd be faster if they did, though.
I'm not even sure if that's the case necessarily, because you can hook up. I'm trying to think how they would. I don't know. No, I don't know your specific laptop, but there's access to the PCIe bus right there, and so you have a high speed access potentially to that hard drive for duplicating it if you have the right technology.
They probably have that. Too.
So yeah, I don't necessarily know it would have taken them that terribly long.
So it's your choice. Do you want to lose your devices probably for good? What are the odds you're going to get them back?
For
while
sure,
they're
it's going to be for good.
Worth anything. Or do you want to let them go through your stuff? That's basically this situation, and it sucks. And the EFF has filed a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit, against the Border Patrol for this.
Have you considered getting a flip phone for travel?
No.
Okay.
I've not.
That's also one solution.
Smartphones are too useful, man. I wouldn't want to not have a smartphone.
The one reason that I wouldn't provide them a password is because once you provide them a password...
I did not give them the password. I put the password into the phone and removed the security from the phone.
One of the reasons that's also probably a bad idea is because there have been cases where they've said, okay, somebody has done exactly what you did, and then they've said, okay, even though they didn't have the evidence in court, they've gone and said the officer has testified to the fact that they saw, in the case I'm thinking of, I believe it was child porn. But the point is, they could have made something up too.
They could have.
And they could have also planted something on your phone.
Yeah.
And if your password's on your phone, well, then all of a sudden you're the only one who access to that phone, and it had to have been you. So there's no even defense of, oh, it was somebody else.
Right. Well, the first thing I did was I wiped the phone when I got it back home and put a new operating system on it.
Yeah, I think just generally, as a general rule, your best bet is to
not let them
take the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably not going to be able to crack it if the phone is powered off. You're probably going to be fine. If the phone's powered on and they take it, you're screwed. They can copy that whole phone, and all your data, even if the phone's encrypted, is going to be visible to a forensics person.
Even if it's encrypted?
Even if it's encrypted. If the phone is on, they're
Which
probably
going
to. Yeah, they're going to be able to access the data on it.
See, basically, when it boots up, it has to have the key in memory so that it can access the encrypted files.
Right.
And so if it's still in memory, they can take that key, which is probably not your password. But if they really know the software, and especially if they have help from Google, which they undoubtedly will, they wouldn't have much problem doing that.
I thought the FBI was like super mad at Apple and Google for having encryption systems on their phones, and they were like demanding that they remove it or put a backdoor in.
Well, so here's the thing. They did use that argument. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense because that particular phone, they actually could access the data off of it. They were choosing not to, and trying to force Apple to surrender, like assist them in getting the data off of it. But there's private entities that ultimately in Israel that did actually extract the data from that phone.
You talking about the phone from California?
The shooter? You're talking about the shooter
shooting
incident?
in Bakersfield or whatever it was?
Yeah, something like that. Where they shot up a theater, some guy, and the guy was dead, but they wanted...
No, Bakersfield was where they shot up a bureaucracy or whatever. It was like a
different incident. Okay, well, they've made the same argument basically on a number of cases, basically.
Okay.
The same line.
I know we covered that stuff here on Free Talk Live. I vaguely recall seeing a story about how the FBI was mad as hell that there's encryption and that Apple won't give them like a master key to their encryption system.
They want a backdoor for everything, basically.
Right. But you're saying that even though all that encryption exists, it's basically useless because they can still crack it?
If the phone
is acting like they can.
If the phone is on, that's correct. They can. If the phone is on and they have it, even if it's got a PIN that you have to enter and encrypted, they can still access the data.
So what would stop them from turning the phone on? Nothing.
Well, they can turn it on, but if they can't enter the password because they don't know it, then they would not be able to access the data on it if it's off.
All right. More coming up here. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can also call in on our Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. Here tonight, it's Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Chris.
Check out more of these guys. Rich and Chris are going to be on Freedom Decrypted tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Time at freedomdecrypted.com. It is a video show, first and foremost, but also available in audio format. You do have a podcast version of the audio, so folks who want to subscribe can do that. And you can also download like massive 1080p quality video files as well.
There are smaller files that are like hundreds of megs as well, as including the video. So
okay, good.
You can download it in WebM or MP4, basically.
Check them out. It's a freedom-oriented tech podcast and video series over at freedomdecrypted.com. So you'd asked me about my experience. So this time I was coming back from Japan, and I'm going even further into preparing the devices, than I've ever done before. But at the same time, I had intended to go with not allowing them to search this time, just to see what happened. To play it both ways and to see how.
It's kind of too bad they didn't.
And they didn't do anything this time. So I'm not. I guess I'm not that disappointed they didn't do anything about it because I didn't have to lose my laptop or lose my phone. But I'm like, oh well, it's been a while since I've had a new phone, so I guess I could get. I know Renee's number by heart, so like that would be one of the inconveniences for people because we're we're so reliant on our devices for storing information. How many people actually remember the phone numbers of the people that they care about? It's very unlikely that people. So, I mean, if they take your phone away from you, well, guess what? You've already missed your connecting flight.
Yeah.
So, like in my case, when I was coming back from Acapulco, Renee, my ex-girlfriend, was going to come pick me up at the airport in Boston. Well, luckily, the bureaucrat in the room, the uniformed bureaucrat, was nice enough, and he allowed me at one point to make a phone call to Renee so I could let her know, hey, don't go to the airport because I'm not going to be there. I've missed my connecting flight.
So you want to write down your important phone numbers before you go through customs.
It may be advisable to do it on your skin.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
So, just in case they take everything else.
Unlock your phone to take out the phone numbers, they can snatch it out of your hand and do whatever they want with it. Remember, police lie. They're allowed to lie. They'll say they won't do that, but they just might.
So you got to be prepared.
Don't
to
forget
go
about the
this.
cameras. They can also potentially go back and look at video footage to get your password. So if you're entering it in the airport, probably not a good idea.
So this is one of those things where you've got to be, if you're doing international travel, you got to think about these things.
Oh yeah.
If you care about your privacy, if you care about things, either sanitize the hell out of your devices, like with the laptop. I actually had installed a bare bones Linux install, so all there was on the laptop was a couple browsers.
And that's standard operating procedure for business people, to be honest.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what most companies will require when you do international travel. They will give you another dedicated laptop.
Yeah, you don't want the customs officials to get the KFC secret recipe that you're traveling across the border with.
Yeah, hopefully you're not traveling across the border with that. Period.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's get into the news here about this, because it's not the EFF that you've got news about, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, who does have a class action lawsuit that they have filed against the bureaucrats in this case.
Yes, so
this is something else.
This is definitely something else. It's a story from CNET. There's a senator that proposed a bill requiring warrants to search devices at the border. The number of searches on devices at the border quadrupled over the last 4 years. So it's not, this is something that's becoming more and more common, and it is not even necessarily, even if you're not concerned about the United States, you have to remember that there's also I don't know, not espionage, but something along those lines. Basically, there's basically enemies. You've got people in other countries that want to gain access, and this is including at like hotels and things of that nature, as well. And also, the country that you're entering is potentially got people who are looking for like trade secrets, things of that nature. And if you want to keep those secret, that's, another reason why you should do it, not just because, they're going to plant something on you or whatever. Unlike police agents don't need a warrant to look through your phones, laptops, and other electronics.
Customs and Border Patrol agents, yeah.
Right, exactly. 2 U.S. senators are hoping to change that with a bipartisan bill. Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, and Senator Ron DePaul, a Republican from Kentucky, on Wednesday.
Ron.
Yeah.
Ron and Rand.
Introduced.
Was it Rand Paul?
Rand. Oh, yeah. Did I say Ron Paul?
Oh, you say Ron.
I'm sorry.
Ron?
Yeah, that's Ron Paul in past tense. He's still alive.
Right. A Republican from Kentucky on Wednesday introduced the Protecting Data at the Border Act. Yeah, I'm reading from like this really tiny screen, which would require agents to obtain a warrant before they can search Americans' devices at the border.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the number of electronic searches at the border has spiked in the last 4 years. In 2018, the Department of Homeland Security conducted more than 33,000 searches on devices, compared with just 4,007. Well, that's still a lot. 4,764 searches in 2015.
Right.
Wow, that the number of device. They must have some sort of device that rolled out like across, like significant number of these in order to do that number of searches. Customs and Border Protection declined to comment. The border is quickly becoming a rights-free zone for Americans who travel. Well, they already have. They've argued for a long time that it's a rights-free zone.
Well, yeah, that is their argument, and I think it's fallacious, because if you believe in rights, and I think rights are a good thing to believe in, then you should have your rights everywhere you go in the entire world. You should have rights everywhere.
They have, there's some Supreme Court, and probably more than one, that backs up that position, or not that specific position, but the position that they have the right to search you at the border. Mm-hmm. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have no rights at the border, and so that's a distinction that's very important, because when the customs agents are talking to you, they're probably going to say something like that you have no rights here. That's not at all true. And I was even told that by a cop in New Hampshire. I have no rights, and I'm just like,
to lie.
What? Yeah, and they are allowed to lie to you. That's the other thing. Police are allowed to lie. They're trained to lie. Right. The government should, well, I don't know if it's your fault, but certainly, I mean,
ignorance is no. You've got to know your rights. You have to exercise.
Of course,
them.
when the police are ignorant, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Well, sometimes if the police are ignorant, you can baffle them also.
Well, no, but like in court, they can use the excuse. So, I didn't know, where you can't use that
for
excuse.
them, ignorance is an excuse.
Right. And it's disturbing. The government shouldn't be able to review your whole digital life simply because you went on vacation or had to travel for work.
Right, man, it is really depressing when this stuff happens, because it made me that happening to me after Acapulco made me dread going to Japan. Because it was only, it's only been a couple, 3 months since I went to Acapulco. It's I don't want to go through this again.
Yeah, I'm shocked that they didn't search you again. And the only thing I can think of is they probably have come to conclude that, they're not going to find anything on you.
I don't know I don't know. I mean, or maybe that's just like a random let's hit them whenever kind of thing. Who knows?
That seemed more targeted to me. I don't know.
Well, then why didn't they do it to me the first 2 years I went to Acapulco?
Because they probably hadn't put you on a list yet, and now you're on another list. You're on more than one. We know this, right?
Which lists am I on?
Yeah, and I think it was probably
all the lists.
My gut feeling
all the lists.
you were added to another list more recently.
Could be,
and I think they may have concluded that they're not going to get you on. You're smarter than that. You're not taking laptops with all your data on it through the airport. They probably
they got a bunch of my data years ago when they raided the studio. That's
true.
This computer is not encrypted in any way, shape, or form. It's on 24 hours a day. So, you want to learn about Free Talk Live's affiliate list? We got it here.
There may be another reason, and it's intimidation, right? So that's another aspect of it. But they may have come to conclude that you're not one to be easily intimidated, and you have to remember there's different people who are looking
bullies do want to pick on the easy marks, right? A bully is going to pick on somebody that they know they're going to be able to push around,
right? So I mean, I suspect that's probably what was going on, but who knows? Law enforcement agencies have been taking advantage of the warrantless searches at the border, using the information discovered in unrelated court cases. The American Civil Liberties Union discovered through its related lawsuit against the DHS. In New Hampshire, actually, the local police were taking advantage of I don't know the border agents too. In order to do drugs until they were slapped down. Right.
Yeah.
A friend of mine got caught up in that. He got arrested at a border patrol checkpoint, and then he got his case dismissed because the police had no reason to be there.
Speaking of border patrol checkpoints, it was last year at Forkfest when we did our epic border patrol
That was great.
Internal checkpoint.
Oh,
video.
I so wish I could have been there.
We got to do them again.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it when you get there, and we'll make a special trip down if they're there. I mean, maybe they won't be there.
I missed it by 20 minutes too.
Hey, we're out of time tonight for the radio show, so join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can join us at freetalklive.com, and if you're on if you're watching at dlive.lrn.fm or Twitch, stay tuned. We got more coming up there. Free Talk Live has found that though U.S. financial institutions are prohibited from doing business with foreign gambling websites, it's not illegal for U.S.-based internet users to gamble on those sites. People have been using VPNs or virtual private networks to connect to sites like games.bitcoin.com and play games with Bitcoin Cash. Games.bitcoin.com features poker, blackjack, roulette, craps, keno, slots, and dice. You can conduct your own investigation at games.bitcoin.com.